So we're gonna look at Osoto-Gari. Okay. So uh, since there's a lot of beginners here, let me go through some fundamentals. When you look at any technique, there are a few key things you need to look at in order to get it right. Okay. So the first thing you look at is gripping your hands. Okay. So a little bit of terminology. In Japanese, this is called the surite. Okay. Literally the lifting hand. Surite, the lifting hand. You can also call it the collar grip. The collar grip. Okay. So this is the lifting hand. Surite. This is called the hikite, right? The pulling hand or the sleeve hand. Okay. So if you want to be technically accurate, surite is the lifting hand. Hikite is the pulling hand. So you lift with this and you pull with this, supposedly. Okay. Sometimes you push. But anyway, another way to call it is collar hand, sleeve hand. Okay. So whenever I say hikite, you know it's this. Okay, if you're on this side, this is the hikite. And this is the surite. Okay. So what question you must always ask yourself whenever you're doing any technique, whether it's Serenage or Taitoshi or Uchimata or Osoto-Gari, is that where are my hands supposed to be? Because you could get your leg positioning correct, everything, but your hands are wrong. And in judo, sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's overarm or underarm, but sometimes it does matter, crucially. Like if you're going to learn Morote Serenage, right? You cannot do Morote Serenage from an overhand grip because oh, this hand blocks. It won't work. You need to be underhand. Okay? So it's actually crucial. Sometimes it will work, but it's more optimal if you have the correct hands, like Ouchigari. Could you do Ouchigari from an underhand grip? You could, but it's better if it's here because you want to pull. So sometimes it's more optimal to have a certain hand placement. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary. Like Tai Otoshi is a technique where if it's overhand, you can't do it because the hand is there blocking. It won't work. But sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like Uchimata. Uchimata can be done from a high grip. It can be done from a mid grip. You could also do Uchimata from this grip. You can even do Uchimata from this grip. So sometimes it doesn't really matter. You can choose the grip that you want. Sometimes it's optimal and sometimes it's necessary. But the question you must always ask yourself, you as the Tori, is that are my hands in the right position? Because sometimes I see people doing, let's say Osoto-Gari. They're looking at Osoto-Gari, right? And their hands are in the wrong place. Then they won't get it to work. So Osoto-Gari, what's optimal? What's optimal? Optimal surite should be high. Should be high. And high means it could be this is a high grip. This is also a high grip. This is also a high grip. Any of these things, but it should be at least here, right? This is not so good. You can do Osoto-Gari this way. It's not so good. You definitely not so good to do it this way. Not to say that it's impossible to do Osoto-Gari this way. You could, I could see you doing Osoto-Gari this way, but it's not so good. What's good is a high grip. Okay, so why? Because when you're doing Osoto-Gari, you want to control the head. If I have a grip this way and I come in, I can bend her head, and I want to do that. If it's here, it's harder for me to bend her head. You see that? So your surite should be high. Whether it's like this or like this, I want to be able to bend her. Okay. The hikite ideally should be mid level. Ideally mid level. Right? This is not so good because it's not a pulling technique. I actually want to push her that way. So I want to grab here so that I can push her that way. So if it's here, end of sleeve, it's harder to push, right? It's harder to push her arms, end of sleeve. If I'm here, easier for me to push. So hands wise, always check that you've got the right grip. Now, as the uke, as my training partner, if I've got it wrong, if the uke knows better, uke should correct me. Okay? So if I come in here, I want to do Osoto-Gari, and I'm gripping like this. You as the uke should say, high grip. Correct me. Oh, okay, high grip. Okay. And if I'm holding here, you as the uke, if you know better, you said actually it's better if you hold here. So you have to work together with your partner. Okay. So gripping is like this. There's two stances, right? One is Kenka-Yotsu. Opposite stance, you have a V shape. I'm right, she's left. This is a common position. How do you do Osoto-Gari from here? Right? Requires a certain grip, this type of grip. There's another stance, all right? Ayotsu, right versus right. When we're in this type of situation, it requires a different Osoto-Gari, different grip, okay, which we'll go through. But right now, let's look at Kenka-Yotsu, opposite stance. Okay, so opposite stance, the ideal grip is high grip on the neck, behind the neck, and here. Okay, it and the leg that I want to attack is her right leg, which is the far leg, far away. If you reach like this, look at how unbalanced I am. I'm going to get countered. So it's a little bit hard to do this, but a lot of international players do one step. They just come in one step. Okay. If you're new to this and it's difficult for you to do one step, we have a 3-step motion. Okay. And so what we do is you take one step closer, top of the triangle. Then you follow up back step. Okay. What does it look like? Does it look like I'm going to throw her there? No, it looks like I'm going to throw her here. Right? It looks like I'm going to throw her to the front. And she thinks I'm going to throw her to the front. If I pull her to the front, her reaction is to go back. That's what I want. Okay? So it's not correct to just do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That doesn't get a reaction. If I want a reaction, I have to make it look like I'm pulling her here. Like she's about to be thrown with Uchimata or Haraigoshi or something. That means pulling with this, pulling with this. Now look at her positioning, body positioning. Her reaction is going to be pulling back. That's what I want. Okay. And when she pulls back, then I push with this. It's done here. I push with this and I go here. Okay. So it looks like this. Okay. Go diagonally. That's what it looks like. So it's not just a case of 1, 2, 3. That doesn't get any reaction. Pull. Let me go back. That's how you should be doing the uchikomi. Usually experienced competitors, just one step. But for beginners, it's good to develop that foundation of pulling first. Action, reaction. Action, reaction. When she reacts, that's when you go here. Okay? Understand?